What actually makes a house sell? I mean, is there a recipe for selling a house like there is for, I don't know, making a cheeseburger? Not exactly, but yes. For 8 years as a real estate agent, I've been asking myself the same question. I've been like, hey, myself, is there a recipe for selling a house like there is for making a cheeseburger? And after years of study and practice, here it is. The key to selling a house in the least amount of time for the highest amount of money with the least amount of exposure to liability comes down to the successful management of 4 key ingredients: price, exposure, presentation, and administration. Or if we want to make an acronym of it, PEPA, PEPA. And don't forget where you heard it first, at the Artist of Real Estate channel. But that being said, let's take a look at what PEPA's all about coming up. Now, before we take a look at each one of the ingredients, we have to keep in mind that not only must all the ingredients be present for the recipe to work, but they must also be synchronized and of good quality. I mean, we want the ingredients in their best form. We want A-grade, farmer's market, organically grown type ingredients. We do not want corporate America off the shelf in a can type ingredients. This is a non-public announcement to interrupt you and let you know that right now is the time to subscribe, click like, or share this video. Ingredient number 1 of the PEPA recipe, price. Now, a common mistake that many sellers make when choosing the list price for your property is ask for more than you expect, list high, and then negotiate down. And you can't really blame them because, I mean, after all, in most other types of sales transactions, this tends to be the case. I mean, when was the last time you said to the plumber, what, $180 to replace my faucet? Nah, that's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and give you $250. That doesn't happen. But in real estate, that does happen. It's not out of the ordinary for a good property to sell above the asking price. And look, the point that I'm trying to make here is that the pricing strategies for your property are unique. And before you set the price, make sure you're familiar with these strategies and practices, or hire a professional who is. The pricing strategy or the pricing ingredient should not be taken lightly. It requires a lot of research and a lot of study, and the aim is to get it right the first time. You want to avoid price reductions. They can have a negative effect on value. They make the property seem undesirable and the seller seem desperate. At the same time, this ingredient should be the last one to go into the pot. First, we need to maximize value through the other 3 ingredients: exposure, presentation, and administration. And then choose a price that's in balance with these other ingredients. Ingredient number 2 of the PEPA recipe, exposure. Now, here's a simple question. 2 apples are available for sale. The first one is advertised to 3 people. The second one to the entire world, including the National Association of Apple Lovers. Now, which apple do you think will sell in the least amount of time for the highest amount of money? If you guessed the second apple, ding, 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 you are 100% correct. Now, look, exposure is important, and it's not only about exposing the property to the most amount of people, but also to the most amount of the right people. This means making the property available locally, internationally, in print, in social media, in every real estate search engine available. Letting the neighbors know, getting the influencers to participate. It's interesting, in the world of social media and online selling, people understand that a key to high exposure and more sales is getting your product in the hands of influencers. Now, in real estate, those influencers are real estate agents, to which for sale by owners are like, what? No, why should I waste my money on commissions? For the same reason that XYZ company pays 15-year-old Josh 50 grand to publish one post on Instagram. Exposure, that's why. Now, Another thing to enhance exposure is accessibility. How easy and convenient is it to show the property? I mean, a property that can be shown the same day with little hassle will sell quicker and for more money than one that can be shown, I don't know, Tuesday mornings between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. And look, there are many other ways to enhance exposure, and really creativity is the limit. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that exposure matters. And it's not only about getting the word out to the most amount of people, but also to the most amount of the right people. But before you expose your property to anyone, before anyone sees this property, make sure that its presentation is at its best. Ingredient number 3 of the pepper recipe: presentation. Now, this is one of my favorites. This is where the real estate agent or the seller needs to take off their tie and be more of an artist than a salesperson. I mean, here we have to recognize that we are not selling shelter. We're selling art, a marker of achievement for some, an aesthetic masterpiece with a toilet and a kitchen. I mean, putting a property on the market should be like a theatrical experience where every little detail is given attention during post-production and measured against a standard of best possible artistic appeal. And this is nothing new. The most profitable businesses understand this. I mean, when Starbucks opens up a store, they're not like chairs, tables, coffee machine, done. No, they spend millions on research, on furniture, graphic designers, interior designers, and more, all in an attempt to create the most eye-soothing, experience-enhancing space possible. I mean, they didn't beat the competition by selling the best commodity. They beat the competition by making an art of a commodity. Now, in real estate, the presentation ingredient can be as big as a kitchen remodel or as simple as decluttering a space, reorganizing it, and taking pictures from the best possible angle. Here's a picture of a property that was listed with a discount broker, 180 days on the market, never sold. I came in, I worked with the seller's budget, we simply decluttered, reorganized, and shot better pictures. We listed $15,000 above the prior list price and sold it in about 30 days. Now, to the naked eye, the picture doesn't look bad. I mean, my thing is that the entrance was one of the best parts of the house. And in an attempt to capture everything, this picture captured nothing. It didn't highlight any specific feature of the house. And let me add that this was the only picture taken of the entrance. Now, other issues with this picture: clutter, distractions, family photos, and bad lighting. Here's the picture that we took. Beautiful, bright, spacious. Turns out there's an effing skylight in the space. Look, presentation matters, and whether it's something as big as a kitchen remodel or as subtle as changing the angle of the camera. I can't stress enough the importance of presentation. Presentation should be a huge part of the marketing plan. The goal is to have the presentation be so good that the property sells itself. Ingredient number 4 of the pepper recipe: administration. Now, administration includes the successful management of the other 3 ingredients, from research to execution, but it also includes having an in-depth understanding of the real estate sales trade, the contracts, the process, the standard industry practices, not only to be able to put a deal together, but also to keep it together. I mean, for example, I recently listed a property, and after doing the inspection, the first-time buyer freaked out. They asked for a $50,000 price reduction. Now, equipped with market knowledge and an understanding of standard industry practices, what is normal, what is not, we were able to educate the buyer and negotiate the $50,000 price reduction down to $6,500. In the process, saving the seller tons of money and keeping the deal together. The administration ingredient is a commonly overlooked but incredibly important part of the sales process. I mean, it is the fundamental sales ingredient, or the fundamental ingredient of this recipe. It is one of the biggest values that a real estate agent can bring to the table. I mean, not managed correctly, this ingredient can trigger lawsuits, kill deals, erase profits, and it can also determine how well the other ingredients are executed and or whether the transaction even closes. Now, in summary, to get back to the cheeseburger, The difference between the best cheeseburger you've ever tasted in your life and the one that had you sick in bed for 3 days comes down to the quality of the ingredients and how well the recipe is executed. Now, the same thing can be said about using Peppa to sell a house. A property that includes the successful management of price, exposure, presentation, and administration will sell for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of exposure to liability. By the way, my name is Daniel Rangel. I'm a real estate agent in Los Angeles. If I can be of any help, if I can help you manage Peppa, it would be an honor.